Place Mansion is Bristol, Rhode Island's crown jewel of Bristol's historic waterfront district. We invite you to come and explore this magnificent estate, known as Bristol's Great House, where generations of seafaring DeWolfs, Colts, and Barrymores entertained presidents and politicos. Come see the beautiful scenery that surrounds this magnificent mansion, created by years of families, each adding their own special, unique touch. Come see why Linden Place is Bristol's Great House. When you pass through these magnificent doors, you will enter a beautiful breezeway that has a purpose for being there.
That Linden Place is a southern home. This is not a New England house. This is not your typical New England house at all. This house is more likely to be found in Charleston or Savannah, even more Charleston, because this family, being in the slave trade, spent a lot of time in the South. That's because that's where their ships came in. That's where the slaves were sold. And they got to love the Southern architecture. Now, down south, where it gets more hot than it is here and more humid than it is here, believe it or not, they invented this way of having the front door open, the back door open, so that a breeze can go right through the middle of the house, and they called this the breezeway. Now, to us later on in New England, a breezeway is an entirely different piece of architecture, connecting usually the house to the garage. But this was a breezeway in the early federal period. And on hot days, it's amazing how much breeze comes through the house. Also means that you can walk by the front door, look in the front door, and look all the way through the house and see the backyard. If there's anything nice to see, you can see our lovely little 1745 garden house that's older than the house itself, way out in the backyard, just by walking by the front door. The hallway then, although this one is an unusually lovely one and noted for its fans. We've been written up in several magazines because of the beautiful fans, the exterior fans over the outside doors and the interior fans. But this hallway is also southern insofar as if you were to examine it architecturally, you'll notice that the front half, near the front door, the ceiling is more elaborate, and there are columns, and the ceiling comes up to a sort of a quasi-arch shape and so forth, whereas the back half of the hallway has a very plain flat ceiling. And it would be in the front half where you would find chairs, such as we have here, our lovely Queen Anne chairs that also predate the house, that we think were made in Newport. But they would be here for guests. And the front half of the hallway was fancy because this is where the guests sat and waited for the mistress to be called to come down and welcome them and take them into the front or west parlor.
Also within this southern-style hallway lays a piece of history held together by the friends of Linden Place. This piece of history is in fact the spiral staircase, which is the only freestanding 4-story spiral staircase with a skylight existing in the United States. If ever the house were to be sold commercially, the staircase would be the first thing to go.
I always tell visitors that I think it was the staircase that saved the house. Not too many people, generally speaking, had been in this house. This house was never open to the public. It was always private property from the day it was built until the day that our organization, Friends of Linden Place, took it over. We're given the deed to this property. It was always private. So there weren't that many people in and out of this house, except friends and relatives and people who worked here. But anyone who knew the house at all knew the staircase, or knew about the staircase, or had seen pictures of the staircase. And I think that when this house went on the market, as it did, this house was put out on the market. It was not, no one inherited it. It was not given to anybody as a trusteeship or anything like that. We had to go out and buy it.
The dining room is another room that is brimming with history. The dining room table, which is rather large, was built this way to accommodate dinner parties and the entertaining of important guests. Over the dining room table hangs a chandelier that has traveled quite a distance and is worth a great deal of money. The chandelier once hung in Buckingham Palace and was later bought by Colonel Colt, the builder's grandson. Colonel Colt bought the chandelier after King Bertie took it down in order to make changes in Buckingham Palace. Colonel Colt can be seen over the wooden mantel in the background. This mantelpiece is in the original style. The rest of the mantels were ripped out and replaced with marble by William Henry. Also in this room is an alcove that was not part of the original architecture. Colonel Colt cut in 2 doors, one that leads into the butler's pantry, and the other is a dummy door built for balance. Linden Place Mansion is full of fascinating architecture and history that is a perfect background setting for weddings and other special events. The photographs that you will take away from this magnificent house will surely make your events more magical and memorable.
This house was host to weddings even when the family was living here up until the mid-1980s. So weddings at Linden Place have a long, illustrious past. And today, I think that people really enjoy the sense that they come through the front doors of Linden Place and they enter the doors that 4 U.S. presidents entered. They're in rooms where 7 generations of family members lived. And I think the house has a really welcoming feel about it. It's not overly ostentatious. It's not, really gilded. It's more, has a very comfortable feel of a family who's lived here. That's typically where ceremonies will take place, in front of the 1790s gazebo. It's a really classic, pretty structure, and in the back of the gardens, which are just very quiet and idyllic and romantic. So with a long center pathway and that being the backdrop, it just works really well for ceremonies. I think one of the strongest allures of Linden Place is the fact that it's a really nice combination of indoor and outdoor space, and the fact that you come through the doors of the mansion, you see this beautiful house, and then you're swept into the gardens where you're surrounded by sculpture and roses and just a very classic design, and then back into the ballroom, which is a completely different space than the mansion itself. Some of the benefits to the ballroom is that the size of the space is quite large, but not overly so. I think it has a great sense of intimacy. It's a room with lots of windows that lets in incredible light, and the cathedral ceilings just really draw the eye upward. So I think for a lot of my brides and grooms, the fact that they can come in and be in such a unique space and not have to kind of go overboard trying to decorate it or make it look interesting is a big plus. If there was one word to describe Linden Place, it's unique. It's different from every other site, not only in Rhode Island, but I think in New England. It's got years of history, whether it be colonial history or revolutionary history, all the way to contemporary times. The fact that Linden Place was in a movie by Robert Redford and Mia Farrow in The Great Gatsby certainly gives it a certain appeal. And the fact, I think, that when people step through the front doors, they're really transported into a different time. In this day and age, brides and grooms have often been to many weddings, and I think they're looking for something a little different. And the combination of the architecture with the beauty of the gardens, with the quietness of the gardens, and then the really festive appeal of the ballroom is it's a great package.
Linden Place Mansion is the perfect place to visit and a rare sight to see, with a gift store full of memorable books, jewelry, and other priceless items. Come visit Linden Place Mansion and leave your heart in Bristol, Rhode Island's great house.